We're here. We're back. We missed you. So let's get to it. Welcome into another episode of Outside Shots. The return of what feels like a long layoff. I think we've been off for about a couple weeks, maybe 2, 3.
Yeah.
But I mean, we weren't off. Let's just say we weren't off. We were working, but it just, listen, time kind of gets away from you. Schedules get a little, conflicted. And, EJ's out there covering the finals and, being on the road in Indiana and OKC.
Man. No, just OKC.
Just OKC. You refuse to go to Indiana?
Well, no.
What's wrong with the good people of Indiana? Why don't you want to go out there and see them?
Well, 2 other people do the show in Indiana. And then, like, I always take the West. And so that's enough. I mean, I spent 12, 13 days in OKC.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Not a fan of OKC,
after a few days, man, it was just
Oh man, you start pondering what life is all about.
Nice area where we were, but
oh man. Well, hey, I mean, we can go ahead and just briefly talk about that. I thought the NBA Finals were good. I thought Game 7 looked like it was going to be on track to be a real banger. But, unfortunately, Indiana fell apart in that third quarter. Obviously, Tyrese Halliburton didn't help by getting injured and tearing his Achilles, and we hope he recovers quickly. But I thought, and I think the ratings proved that it was captivating. It was a captivating series. And if you like basketball, I thought both these teams displayed a high level of basketball that, we needed. And if you don't like Indiana or OKC and you didn't want to view the finals because LeBron James wasn't in it or your favorite superstar or Steph Curry wasn't in it, like you're completely missing the boat and you don't really love basketball.
No.
Let's just be real about that.
No, they're not true fans. True fans love competition and they're happy when teams get in, the underdog, to be able to get that far. OKC obviously wasn't an underdog. It was the best team in the league for most of the year, winning 68 games. But Indiana, second best record after the month of January in the league. So actually the 2 best teams got in based on where they were, consistency and all of that. And it was a tremendous series. It went 7 games. That's what you want. You want drama. You want back and forth. Unfortunately, 7 minutes into Game 7, after he nailed 3 threes, Tyrese goes down, Halliburton goes down with a presumed Achilles, and then we find out it was. That was devastating, man. Like, so people understand, like, basketball to us is our life. Like, it's not a game. And I think sometimes people forget that when they want to criticize players and say stuff. Like, we've put our whole life into this game. And trust me, it's a lot of tough times. It's a lot of fatigue times where you just say, man, is this for me? People getting on you, coaches pushing you, not getting along maybe with certain teammates, being disconnected from your family, dealing with the injuries, but you still have to go out and play. Like, I'm not trying to say we're different than everybody. I'm just talking about in our own space. I think people need to understand how much it means to us. It's not just the money. It's just the opportunity to compete, all those things. And so for Tyrese Halliburton, who fought all year to get to that point and was really the talk of the playoffs in his late game heroics, 7 minutes in, after hitting 3 straight threes and goes down. Mm-hmm. And I thought, actually, to me, I felt Indiana was going to beat them.
I felt like that after Game 6.
Yes. And so, man, so disappointing. It's so, you just spend your whole life playing this game, man, wanting to win a chip, wanting to win a championship. And to get that close and then go down, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
man, I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
No, that's I think that's the other part about this that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. It's like not only did he get injured and he hurt, but like you mentioned, he hit 3 straight threes, and as a player, like you hit 2, you're like, okay, that third one's usually the heat check. You hit that third one, you're like, oh, it's on, and then to get injured right after that, just devastating, and it was sad to see. But listen, OKC was the best team all year round, deserved to win a title.
Yeah.
The way they've gone about their business the last, 7 to 8 years and trying to build from scratch. You know what I mean? Like that's just, hey, listen, you got to give them credit for building this thing, quote unquote, the right way, however you want to frame it. And now they are the NBA champions. And
got an Arizona guy, so hey, there you go.
There you go. Straight from Perry High School.
I mean, Jalen is really, as he told me, I interviewed him a couple of times when I was there. You can, if you want to see part of the interviews that we have, you can just go to Jump Shot 8. You can find it on there, or you can go to SiriusXM at there.
There's a ton of interviews.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, man, this dude, man, the crazy part is, and they probably got mad at me because I called it out. But at one point in the series, Jalen had taken 90 after game 6, going into game 7. He had taken 94 shots, okay? And 19 of them were on the right side of the court. Now, I can't, for me, you watch me play, it was no spot on the floor that I felt like I was in another country. There's the rim. If I'm on the right side, if I'm on the left side, if I'm in the middle, it did not matter. I saw the rim, I saw the net, I saw the opportunity, I felt comfortable in doing it. Man, today's game, man, is just so weird, man, how analytics has just brainwashed these guys. So he only took 19 shots on the right side and only made 2.
Wow.
2 jumpers. 19 jump shots. Mid-range, all the way out to 3. He was 2 for 19 from the right side of the floor. So you would imagine this forced him right.
Yeah.
Because every time you forced him right, he would go back to the left. And we saw it the whole series. You go back to the left, he's got that one Steve Nash type quick layup off the glass. Shea, same thing.
Huh.
Shea was 6 for 23.
From the right side?
Right side.
How about that?
So I said it, and I know they commented on it, so I didn't say it anymore because I'm not, did I want Indiana to win? Probably.
Somebody shot him a text message. Hey.
Probably. Probably. I did. And the only reason is because, people might not know this. I played for the Seattle Supersonics for 3 years. Great fan base. Great city, great people. They didn't deserve to lose their team.
No.
And it's bothered me. And I'm one of those ones that's really behind helping them get another franchise. So I'm always sending messages to the people there, I think the potential owners, and that I'm really hoping that they get a new franchise there, and they deserve it because they should not have lost that team. So it was just hard for me to cheer for Oklahoma City, not cheer for Shea and Jalen. I love them; they're unbelievable. Chet, I love that team. Great group of guys. No, more so just because of the organization. They should not have left. And that was when KD and Russell Westbrook was on the team.
No, I remember.
So yeah, that part gets me.
Yeah, no, I could see how you feel that way. There's no easy way to transition from that, but the NBA seems to not have an easy transition either because just 3 days later, after the NBA Finals is over, we head into the NBA draft. And last night, the Suns take Khaman Maluach from Duke, and a flurry of activity. Really, we knew what the first 2 picks were going to be. Obviously with Cooper Flagg going number 1, Dylan Harper going number 2 to San Antonio. Then after that, the question marks started to arise and who the Sixers were going to take. They took VJ Edgecombe, and then you wondered where Ace Bailey was going to go because he didn't work out for any teams. And then he even had a list of teams that he did not want to go to. And on that list was Utah. And Ace Bailey gets drafted by Utah because Austin Ainge, and I quote, said, "I don't care." Like, he just didn't care. He doesn't care what your feelings are about Utah. He's going to take the best player available. He took Ace Bailey. And honestly, if Ace Bailey had any common sense and his camp had any common sense, they would have looked at the Utah Jazz in that situation and realized that was probably one of the better situations he could go to, because as a wing, like they are void of talent at that position. So him coming into that situation, I thought was great. But then to get down to 10, and just before, at least on my timeline, just before the Suns made the pick for Maluach, a trade went down, and Mark Williams from the Charlotte Hornets comes to the Suns for the 29th pick in the first round that the Suns also had, and a 2029 first round pick, which is kind of crazy because in the span of seconds, they have 2 bigs that are coming into the fold, and we'll talk about Maluach here in a second. But for those of you who are not familiar with Mark Williams, he was a starter for the Hornets, injury-riddled player, had a tough time staying healthy, got traded to the Lakers, but then the Lakers backed out because of injury concerns. He averaged 15, 10, 2, like a solid player overall, a great pickup for the Suns if he can stay healthy. When the Lakers backed out of the trade, though, Mark Williams felt some type of way about it, and he felt so kind of jaded from that whole situation that he tweeted this after the Lakers got eliminated from the playoffs, which means that he is undoubtedly a Phoenix Sun because of how much he hates the Lakers. Welcome to the Valley, Mark Williams. We are glad to have you. EJ, your thoughts on Mark Williams coming to the Phoenix Suns? And let's just keep this to just Mark Williams as a player, and then we'll get into the whole dynamic of having 2 bigs all of a sudden to join, the other one that's already on the roster.
Yeah, well, Mark Williams is obviously a very good young player. He's 23 years old.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, guys that are 7 foot, 6'10", everybody's body does not grow and operate the same. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer for your body to get used to, one, what you're doing out there, and then he's probably still growing. I was growing at 23, man. Like when I got to the NBA, I was 6'7", and maybe at 22, 23, I kept growing. I was 6'8.5". So a lot of time I had tendonitis like no other because my body had not balanced itself out yet. And so a lot of times with these big guys, man, it takes a bit for their body to totally hit that base to where, okay, we're good. And maybe that's part of the issue with this young man. But on the court, dude can play. Like, he came up in here and gave us numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Before the trade, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then, no. This kid can play.
Also did not miss a game after that trade was negged.
Right. Yeah. So that says a lot, right? One, about maybe his pain tolerance, or 2, he's not as his structure in his situation is not as bad as the Laker team doctors thought it would be. Like, it's a lot. I don't know if you remember this, but Miles Turner, the center for the Pacers,
Mm-hmm.
When he first got drafted, a lot of teams shied on him because they felt that he was an injury ready to happen because of the way that he runs. If you watch him run, he runs like he's slew-footed, bow-legged all at the same time. And it looks really weird the way he runs. And so it looks like sooner or later he's going to put so much stress on his knees that it's going to cause injury. Well, it hasn't really put Miles Turner in a tough situation, although Indiana Pacer fans might believe that something was wrong because he straight up stunk during the finals. That's another statement, but he did. But it was that kind of guy, I think, that the Lakers were probably looking at it like, I don't know if he can work. But the kid can play, man.
Mhm.
So I thought, 20, and you people.
I'm about to get to that in a second.
What?
Okay.
What do you think I was going to say?
About the what we gave up for him?
Yeah. Okay. So I won't even go there.
Okay.
So, but he's a very good player.
I'll lead you into it right now. How about that?
Go ahead.
Okay. Everybody's crying and whining and we gave up a 2029 first rounder and blah, blah, blah. Like, all right, this is what the Lakers were going to give up for the same player. Okay. Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish, a 2030 pick swap, and an unprotected first round pick in 2031. Stop with your whining. Okay. Just stop with the crying. The 2029 first round pick is the worst of 3 picks between the Jazz, was it the Cavs, and the third one? I'm forgetting the third one. But either way, it's going to be a bad pick. So it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You took a flyer on a guy, and you hope he stays healthy. He's got 1 year left on his contract. Go.
Now the 29 is significant for me because I was the 29th player taken in 81. But it wasn't in the first round because we only had 23 teams. So I was 6 in the second round. But still, that 29 is special. So know that EJ was drafted 29, but it wasn't that many EJs, okay? All right, so we let that go. 29, stop, man. Like this dude averaged 15 and 10. So we could have did something else with that pick. We could have did what? Did what? Huh? Did what? It was luck that Denver got Nikola Jokic in the second round. It was luck that Golden State got Draymond Green. It was a lot of guys that have gotten drafted late in the draft. I get it, and they turned out to be pretty good. Well, what odds do you want? Seriously, do you want the odds of knowing a guy is 7'2", can pass the ball, set screens, he can score, he is ridiculous on the offensive glass, one of the most massive guys in the league? We got 2 of them, by the way, now. So what, 29? The kid can play. If he's healthy, Suns fans are going to love what this kid brings. So I thought it was a good roll of the dice. And he's got to pass the physical. So the Suns are going to look at his physical and see. And we'll go from there.
The biggest complaint, I think, over the last couple seasons was the concern that the Suns were getting older. They were not lengthy and athletic enough.
Right.
And in the span of not only this draft, but this offseason so far with the trade for the KD trade, okay? You just brought in Jalen Green, 23 years old. Mark Williams, 23 years old. Ryan Dunn is on the roster, 22 years old. And you just added Khaman Maluach, 18 years old. They got longer, they got more athletic, and they got younger. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, we're back. I'm not going to say that. But what I will say is like, it is July 26th today, and in the words of Flex, we barely started the offseason. What are we complaining about? Like, there's still so much time left to kind of flush out this roster and make sure everything is good. And
no, after the draft, it's over.
That's it. It just
like,
stops.
After the draft, that's the team.
You have 3 days after the NBA Finals to figure it out, and then you're done.
You're done. People putting up like the death chart on Twitter. You stoops. It's June.
It is June.
And you putting up a depth chart. Like, oh, that's the Suns team now. We got 8 perimeter guys and 2 centers, but 4 centers. We still got Plumlee. I mean, one guy said, you got 4 centers now. You got Plumlee. Don't you realize all those guys not going to be here? If you know anything about basketball, it's rebuilding a team or adding things. So and those guys that's on the roster, a few of them probably know they're not going to be here. You're the only one that don't know. This is the team we have after the draft. You got free agency starts next week. The trade deadline is not over. Calm down. Let's see what happens. I'm interested to see what happens.
I am too. I'm excited to see what happens. Listen, I think Brian Gregory, after the KD trade, it was kind of 50-50 on how you wanted to look at it. I think most people were disappointed in the return that they got. But I think the additional moves of getting Williams and then obviously drafting Khaman Maluach, which is part of the KD trade. You can't just ignore that because that's all part of it. I think overall the haul was good. I think it was all good. Like, I mean, you got Mark Williams, Khaman Maluach, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks. What's not to like? Like, I think you just kind of overhauled your roster to a certain degree. You still got moves to be made. Don't get me wrong. Bradley Beal still out there. Flex was pretty certain that it is going to happen, that he's going to get traded. So if that's, hey, listen, I don't care who Bradley Beal gets traded for. I think he's still a good player, but I don't care who he gets traded for. If you are able to get off of that salary, that is a miracle in itself. And so, I mean, build the statue of Brian Gregory if he's able to trade him in the first place, okay? Because that just didn't seem like it was even a possibility. I thought wave and stretch for sure. And if it was a wave and stretch, it would be the largest wave and stretch in NBA history. But we'll see if it happens. But if that happens, that just opens up so much more for the Suns, because then you get underneath the second apron, depending on what the return is for Bradley Beal, obviously. So, I mean, the window is opening a little bit more. The optimism is opening a little bit more. I think we were all kind of bleak. We were all kind of feeling down in the dumps about where this team was headed. We were kind of doubtful. We didn't trust the organization because of the moves that they made and really the subsequent record of the team and the performance, and everything was our pets' heads were falling off, essentially, is what was going on. And now everything is starting to stabilize a little bit more. And I think listen, it's not 100%, but I think you can feel like it's at least building in the right direction and things are going right.
Yeah, there's nothing the Suns could do that's going to satisfy people because their energy is still based on the disappointment of the year. Mm-hmm. So it's just hard to take them out of the basement in their way of thinking, unless we went out and got Giannis or went out and got somebody that, they understand and know. It's not going to happen. With KD leaving, it's hard to replace Kevin Durant. It's hard to replace a superstar, an all-time great. It's just hard. I don't care who you get back. It's just hard, man. Especially a dude that was still averaging 26, 27 a game, shooting 50, 40, 88, 89. I mean, come on. Kevin Durant is ridiculously good. It did, but the concoction didn't work for whatever reason. And I think he understands that as well. But what the Suns got back in that deal, Saul, look, okay, we all wish that we could get equal back. KD for Giannis. Ooh, that'd have been a good one. KD for Jokic. Oh, damn, that's really good. It's not going to happen.
Well, I don't know. You might have been able to get KD for Jokic.
Yeah, whatever. It's not going to happen.
If you traded for Johnson Giannis.
Okay.
Well, I mean, according to the Nuggets GM, they're worried about the money. So
yeah,
they
in a couple of years.
might have to worry about Jokic.
In a couple of years, but he's just talking. He's just talking. But what they got back, and you brought it up, Jalen Green is 23 years old. Dylan Brooks is 30, I believe, right? Okay. Now, 2/5 of the second best team in the West record-wise, the fourth best team in the NBA, we took 2 of their players.
Starters.
By the way, Jalen Green led them in scoring.
I'm telling you, people.
Okay. So now, yeah, he did play well in the playoffs, and that might be a lasting thought on your mind that he didn't play well, but a lot of players don't play well. The great Kobe Bryant shot air balls against Utah in his career.
In his first NBA playoffs. Yep.
I mean, forget about that. Yes, he wasn't big for the moment, but he's 23 years old. And again, led his team in scoring. All right. And they finished with the second best record in the West behind Oklahoma City. All right. Also, Dylan Brooks. Say what you want about him. When he's on another team, you don't like him. Okay? But if you had a choice to walk down an alley with somebody and you knew some thugs at the end of that alley,
hell yeah.
Who are you going to take with you?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to want him on your team, right? So 14 points a game. All right? 40% from 3. Played 31 minutes. Both of them played most of the games. I think Dylan Brooks 75, Jalen Green 82. All right. So you're getting consistency and showing up, and you're getting a work ethic. And with Jalen Green, he's one of the top 5 athletes in the league. Top 5. Top 5. So now you got to mold them. You got to get them right. That's the job to the coaches.
Yeah, I agree.
And the skill development guys. Get him right. He's 23. I heard he's a gym rat. I heard that when he's in Houston. I got a lot of connections in Houston. They really loved him. John Lucas worked with him a lot, the great John Lucas. And, say the kid stays in the gym. That's what you want to hear. So give it an opportunity. I know last time he came up here in Phoenix, I think he dropped about 40 on us, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
They kicked. Remember Houston came in here during the course of the year and whooped our butt?
When we were better than them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and they kicked our butt, and I think he had like 35 to 40. So trust me, kid can play. Now it's up to people to make them better.
Well, and I think people are a lot of PTSD when it comes to Jalen Green and a similar skill set that people are observing with him, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, a lot of commonality in that. But the thing with me about Jalen Green is athletically way different than any of those guys. And he'll attack the basket a lot more, in my opinion, than those guys will. Those guys are heavy in the mid-range. They love the mid-range. They're elite scorers, don't get me wrong. But Jalen Green is a different type of player. So I don't think it's necessarily apples to apples that you're comparing when you're talking about Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker, and then taking out KD and putting in Jalen Green. Also, Bradley Beal might not even be a part of the equation. So all you have is those two in Jalen Green and Devin Booker, which to me is not a problem that you need to worry about. I think that those two can facilitate, because we've seen other players of similar skill sets be able to coexist on the court when it's two of them, right? Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, elite shooters, both able to coexist with each other on the court at the same time. I think that's what you're looking at. But Jalen Green's not even the same type of player as Devin Booker, because he's more of a slasher and a scorer at the rim than he is anything else. So I'm excited about that move. Now, the other move I'm excited about.
Can I say this right
before
before
you go ahead.
Guy said Dylan Brooks is a thug, one of the guys in the chat. Well, thug, that's not a good description of somebody. He plays basketball.
Well, I think maybe we said that because he said Dylan Brooks is a thug now? ? Cut it out.
I think somebody. Okay, well, if somebody said thug, thug is not a good description of any professional athlete. Last I heard, Dylan Brooks hasn't been arrested for anything. He hasn't robbed anything. He just competes on the basketball court. And Suns fans, you're going to love him because he's going to get under the skin of the opponent. And that's what you want. I play with that dude any day of the week. I go at Draymond all the time and get on him for stuff. But I'd play with that dude any day of the week on the basketball court, without a doubt. And Draymond seems like a good dude off the court. But if you play against him, you can't stand him. Right? So that's what Dylan Brooks is. And this team needed that, man. We need physical, like with Brooks, Ryan Dunn, Mark Williams, obviously the rookie, the new kid. I'll get to where I can pronounce his name. Maluach. You talking about physical bodyguards for Devin Booker and Jalen Green.
Yes.
EJ always had bodyguards. I'm telling you, always. All right, I can run them off. Okay, I go way back. Great Sam Lacey. Okay, you don't even know who he is. All time great. All right, I came into the league at 22. These are guys that's going out of the league. Leon Douglas, Josie Merriweather, Reggie King, Ray Williams. Okay, bodyguards like. Somebody hit me because teams always wanted to knock me off stride and hit me because I'm always running, right? I'm like, I was Steph Curry way. Like I'm off of screens, me and Mike Woodson off screen, they knocked the stew out of us, right? So we had bodyguards. And then along the line, LaSalle Thompson, all right? Mark Oberding, just old school guys, right? I had the Davis boys in Indiana. I had Sean Kemp. Michael Cage, Sam Perkins. You get me? Into my career, I had Charles, I had Akeem. Always had bodyguards. Like, you need guys to take care of your scorers. Like, Devin, to me, has never truly had a significant bodyguard.
Jay Crowder is probably as close as it comes, I think.
Yeah, but, maybe. Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, because Jay did the dirty work.
Jay, I would say Jay. But rarely did he have one. Right? He always had young power forwards, like Marquise Chris. He had guys that was trying to figure their whole life out. Now he got some guys like Dylan. You hit Devin next year, Dylan Brooks gonna be right there. And Devin doesn't have to get caught up in it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, so you stay concentrated, Devin. You stay concentrated to keep wearing their ass out. Don't get you caught up in this to throw you off stride. They'll handle it. They'll come over there and take care of it. And I guarantee you, guys won't mess with you then. Like, you don't. That's what I'm saying. You don't see too many guys mess with Steph.
Yeah, true.
Because they know Draymond's coming.
I like this question.
You get my point? So that's what you need, that on your team. You need that protection for your guys, your skilled guys. So Jalen and Devin, they worry about scoring. Worry about lighting people up. Let them dudes do the dirty work.
Shane, what you got?
I like this question from Jersey Joe to EJ. How many bodyguards are there in the league now, like comparatively?
There's not a ton like it used to be.
Steven Adams.
Yeah, Steven
Draymond.
Adams one. Each team pretty much has one per se.
But they're different levels.
Like for Oklahoma City, I would say the kid Jalen Williams, the other Jalen Williams, not the one from here. Big kid. He'd go after people. Hardenstein. So, I mean, every team has one or two. And I just think we went through stretches as an organization where we didn't have that.
Yeah, we too soft.
Like, I don't know who it was for the Suns, but they once got mad at Robin Lopez because he broke a window in the practice facility because he was mad. And they wanted to trade him because of that. I'm like, what? Why you won't trade him?
Lou Dort, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, Lou Dort. Yeah, so every team has them. The protectors, man. It's almost like, when you go in the club. Like, I used to go in the club with my guy. I go in there and I be right in the middle of them. They walk in on each side. I'm walking in, my bodyguards, Serious, man.
Don't call Mark West a bodyguard.
Mark West was my bodyguard. Big Daddy, let me tell you something. If somebody would have messed with me on the court, not only Big Daddy, okay? Now, that's right. Not only Big Daddy, I had Andrew Lane.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew Lane, one of the strongest dudes in the history of this game. Andrew Lane didn't play. I mean, very mild-mannered, religious guy. Love him to death, okay? And I'm telling you, Eddie, you okay? You all right? They knocked me down, You all right? Yeah, I'm all right. And then he just look at the guy. I'm serious. Like, that's what you need. In a lot of ways, it was good for us because Tommy Gunn, Tom Chambers, he'd fight anybody. But we didn't want him fighting.
Yeah, because you didn't want him to get ejected because he was so good.
Right.
Yeah.
But Tom would fight anybody. And so, but it was good for Tom that he had that protection, Marley, bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so that's what, every team needs. And I believe the Suns right now, they have a concoction of guys that straight up, they get in your face.
Good.
Physical. And I love that. I love that for Devin and Jalen Green.
Absolutely. Listen, I want to talk about Khaman Maluach here for a second. But first, I do want to answer some of these super chats that we have. The first one being right here by KJ Burden 05. We appreciate your super chat, $1.99. EJ, one of the best in the game with his commentary.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. And then a millennial hero said, what do we do with Beal? Bench or the 3 or trade if possible? And so we just discussed that a little bit, but I think, listen, if he ends up staying on the team, which is, to me, and I know Gambo and Flex have kind of said the same thing, highly unlikely at this point, just because not only are the Suns wanting to get off that contract, but also It just feels like it's a very toxic situation for him here in the Valley, and the fans are not happy with him and all this other stuff. And is that fair to him? That's subjective. Obviously, I think 98% of you feel like it is. I personally, I'm kind of indifferent on it. I could see it going either way, but I don't think that he's a great fit here in the Valley right now or on this team. So I think they should move on from him. I think, if you could trade him, you're going to trade him. But I think the other part of this is probably a wave and stretch because he does have the no trade clause, and he can veto any trade to any organization if he doesn't want to go to that city.
Yeah, I just, I hate this whole situation because I see a dude that when I watch Bradley Beal play or just see him, because I'm very observant. Trust me. I go to Vegas and I just sit in the lobby and just watch people. I'm a people watcher. You a people watcher?
I am.
Yeah, they might think that's a little creepy.
They call us creeps.
Yeah, they see you over there. So
I was old man just sitting in Vegas
man,
watching
I'm a people watcher, man. I love watching people, man. And I like to dissect anybody that I'm going to be around for a while by just staying away from him and getting to know him from afar and understanding how to approach him. Man, I love that, man. And so what were we talking about? I got
Bradley Beal.
Old man. I'm telling you. Hey, when you get 66, start forgetting shit. But I'll never forget that face there. How could you forget that face right there? Oh my God. I mean, look at him.
I mean, it's 1 in a million.
Yeah, look at him.
It's beautiful.
Oh my land. I hate it for Brad, man, because I just see a guy that really wanted to make things work. And that's the frustrating part. Like if it was a guy that didn't really try to make things work, then you can be easily frustrated with him and say, oh, he's this, he's that. But Suns fans, I'm telling you, like, I watched him, man. You got to understand something. He had to change his entire game the way he plays. He had to change his entire game the way he plays for Katie and Devin. And he understood that was okay. He knew he had to do it. But the dude tried. And I keep telling people, it'd be the other way around if he shot 42% from the field and shot 32 from three. Then they'd really be all in to justify it. But you can't even justify it. The dude was like a 50-40, almost 90 dude.
Yeah.
So, I mean, think about that, people. The guy had to play third fiddle, and he still was efficient. He just could not stay healthy. And a lot of it is because he had to play a different kind of way. People don't understand that either. Like he had to be hesitant and just, he wasn't that explosive, aggressive dude that was in DC when it was his team. So just calm down on it, man, and stop talking about it's all his fault and all. That's not his fault.
Yeah, he should not be the scapegoat.
Every player in the league would like to get a no trade clause. Do you understand how difficult it is when you're traded during the season? You got to uproot your family, huh? So everybody would love to have that convenience of saying, I know I'm not going to get traded. And he got that convenience. Stop blaming him. It's not his fault. It's not his fault at all. He's done everything he's supposed to do other than please you because he can't stay healthy. And I get that part. I get it. But the other stuff, calm down on the negativity, man. Because the dude, he produced and when he was out there. So we just didn't have the right concoction to win. Just put it on that. But stop individually blaming him like it's all his fault. It's not his fault. And he likes Phoenix. So if he doesn't want to get traded, guess what?
He's going to stay.
He doesn't get traded. So you're going about it the wrong way. You truly are in ripping this guy. So, that's all I want to say about that.
No, I agree with that. Khaman Maluach is now coming into the league, drafted number 10 overall. And listen, I think for those of you who don't know much about Maluach, I'm here to tell you folks, like, to me, I felt like that was the pick of the draft, because I was fortunate enough to be able to see him, because when Arizona played Duke, I traveled out to Jersey to watch the game, and I saw Maluach in person, and he stands out. He's young, he's athletic, he's still learning the game, which is just phenomenal. Listen, in 2018, he was 13 years old, and that was the very first time he picked up a basketball. 7 years ago. 5 years after that, he's playing against Team USA in an exhibition game prior to the Olympics against that all-star crew from the US, and holds his own, blocked a couple of shots. I think he had 7 points, 5 rebounds, could run the floor, and he was still developing his game overall. He's working on his outside shot. He had a couple against the US that day. He had a couple when I was able to watch him against U of A couple times this year. He's still developing that outside shot, and it's getting better and better and better. Folks, we're talking about somebody who's only played the game for 7 years. 7 years.
He was born in 2006.
Why? Well, that's a whole different story. 18 years old, picked up the game not long ago. Just a phenomenal specimen of a player. And an even better individual. The tears that you saw coming down his face yesterday, immediately when he got picked, is not just because he's happy to be in the NBA, but because of what it meant to him coming over from, South Sudan, Uganda. His family had to evade South Sudan because of the strife that was going on, the conflict that's going on there. They had to leave and go to Uganda. He was raised basically in Uganda for most of his life. Then he was able to come over and play basketball, and because of Luol Deng's foundation and the NBA Africa movement, he was able to get seen and have an opportunity to be able to thrive and build his game up to the point where he can come over to the U.S. and play for a legendary college basketball program in Duke. Like, just an amazing story on so many different levels. And for everybody freaking out about the fact that the Suns went from essentially having, no centers, or, maybe you want to call Oso and Nick Richards, centers, or whatever you want to say, to all of a sudden getting 2 in the span of seconds, and then be like, what are the Suns doing, and freaking out. Like, I'm here to tell you, Maluach you couldn't pass him up. There was just no way you could pass him up, because he's that good, and he's going to be even better. 5 years from now, he's going to be amazing. I'm telling you, folks, he's going to be fantastic, because defensively, he's damn near there at the NBA level. Offensively, he's going to continue to build his game. He can run the floor. I just love everything about this kid. Between him and Carter Bryant, and being able to speak to those two, I think those are 2 of the best people in a locker room I've ever been able to speak to. And they're phenomenal human beings. I wish Carter Bryant nothing but the best. And obviously as a CODA, so CODA means a child of a deaf adult. Carter Bryant, obviously his grandparents deaf. His mom is fluent in sign language. He knows a lot of sign language. He actually has a deal with Gallaudet University, which is a deaf university. Like, tremendous stuff going on. Like, he and I were able to connect on a different level in the locker room. And I just, I adore that kid so much. But Khaman Maluach, same thing. When you come from nothing and you come from civil strife and a war zone, and things are just things that we can't even comprehend here in America, because it hasn't happened to that degree anywhere in this country. It's remarkable that he's now part of the Phoenix Suns. I'm very excited to have him here. And so when you look at Khaman Maluach, from your initial observations, what do you see in this individual?
Yeah, I mean, I saw him do the tournament, and he just takes up a ton of space. I love big guys that take up space, because now it's almost like a detour on the road. Like, you walk up to it, you drive up to it, like, oh, damn. Especially if you're in a hurry. Like me coming here this morning. I mean, they got all kind of stuff going on right over on 5th Street, and I'm like, oh, man, they got the street half blocked off. And I'm thinking, I got to go around the corner now. That's what this guy is. Like, you got a straight drive to the rim, and you're like, oh, I got to pass this one. I got to do this and that. You love to have guys that massive in front of you, and the Suns have 2 now, which I think is a huge upgrade, and it's a huge deterrent. The one thing that stood out for me, it just should remind these American ball players who are spoiled like heck. Spoiled. When you see a kid like this, that his tears, like, I'm not going to judge people's tears, but his tears were real. And it came from a place of distress. It came from a place of just, man, I don't even know if I would have been here because I would have been gone. Like, it's that kind of distress that really stood out for me because I just visited Africa.
You did.
And this shirt right here, obviously from a company, good friend of mine who runs a tourist company in Africa, in Ghana. I am telling you, it's real, man. It's real. We don't have to worry about that stuff growing up in America. We worry about things, don't get me wrong. We got a lot of stoops in this country that do bad things to people. But, I mean, we don't have to worry about looking over our head, and watching a bomb fall down on us. We don't have to watch and go through different civil wars that, as a young man, he probably didn't know much about because he was young. But still, he can look back and see how big a struggle it was for his parents. All of that, it was real. And he didn't care where he got drafted. See, the Ace Baileys of the world, they're caring about where they're going to get drafted. Who cares, man? You get ready to play in the NBA. Only 400 plus can play. Be blessed and fortunate, man, that you're one of them. Why are you worried about where you're going to play? Like, just go wherever you're going to play and be the best you can and help that organization because they're going to pay you, they're trusting in you, and that's what you need to go do. That's what you grew up to do. Now, on the 13-year-old thing, and he finally picked up the game, I actually believe, Saul, that's a good thing.
I do too.
It's not a bad thing. You got these parents, they got their kids out there trying to dribble out of the womb. And by that time, the kid gets 13. He don't even like basketball.
Yep.
I didn't play organized basketball until I was 13.
Was it the only sport you played growing up?
No, I played every sport.
That's the other thing.
I didn't play organized basketball until I was 13 years old. Okay, late 13, almost 14. And I was in the NBA 9 years later. So at 22. So trust me, it's people need to understand, like, the acceleration goes next to the love. You can meet somebody and fall in love with them in 2 months if you put everything into them. If you don't put everything into them and you still looking as you're with them, then it's going to stretch itself out for years, right? But immediately, if you see somebody and you fall for them, as Saul fell for his wife soon as he saw her, you get married real quickly. And that's what this kid did. Like at 13, 14, he fell in love with the game. Mm-hmm. And what happened? That's all he worked on. He put everything into it. Whereas a young kid doing it at 7, 8, he's not putting all his love into it. And so, it kind of bothers him. That's why I always suggest to parents, let your kid play every sport they can when they're young so they can fall in love with one of them. I played baseball, football, basketball, street hockey. I played all of it, okay? Football, I said, heck no. When a dude had me on the offensive line, it was 10 degrees outside. I walked home. I quit at halftime. I said, man, I'm done. I was playing against some country dudes, man, from the suburbs, man. These dudes knocking the stew out of me, man. I'm like, man, this is not for me. No, done. Quit. And I just gravitated eventually to basketball and put my all in. That's what this kid has done. So I love the fact that he hasn't played a lot. I love the fact now he's going to embrace it. He's going to be on that court learning, wanting to get better every day, and his acceleration is going to continue. So, yeah, I think we got a tremendous player, and I just love the fact that we went big. Because, some people say, well, Oklahoma City just won it, man. They got them little dudes, man. They can run, they speed and quickness. Yeah. And I remember one time, everybody tried to emulate the Lakers in Showtime. Got beat. I remember at one time all these teams trying to emulate the Golden State Warriors, Splash Brothers, got beat. It wasn't until Cleveland said, you know what? We're not going to try to match you. We're just going to beat you up. And they beat them, came back from 3-1 and beat them. The opposite, a lot of the times, is better than trying to match them. You know? And so I think teams going big in the West, they're going to give Oklahoma City problems, you know, because most teams are going big where they want to stay small, and that's fine. But I think you have to go opposite and not try to match, because it's hard to match somebody. Like, Saul can't match me. He can't. Like, I don't know what he can go get plastic surgery. He can do whatever he needs to do. He can't. You can't match this. Like, how you can't.
I just want to let you know.
You can't match this, dude. I don't care what you go do, man.
I just want to let you know.
Just be settled in yourself. Try to do the opposite. Try to
do the opposite,
man. Try to have a good personality.
Somebody told me that I look like I could be the brother of Pedro Pascal, and so
I don't know
take
who
that.
he is.
He's one of the most beautiful men in the world.
Who said that?
Last of Us.
Who said that?
Come on, man. My wife.
Oh, okay.
To your point, EJ, though, with Khaman Maluach, he quote said, this is the first time he saw a basketball camp, playing basketball, and he said, I just went to a camp and saw a lot of tall people who were happy, and I was like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to belong. I mean, that right there, like he saw the enjoyment people were having, and he wanted to be a part of that. And that's where that love of the game started, right? And it wasn't necessarily just the basketball. It was how much enjoyment the people were having playing it. And I think what I hope happens through the course of the next couple of years, and I'm going to do my damnedest to try and help this out, is that we kind of pump the brakes a little bit on all the negativity and all the pessimism and all the just tearing down of people left and right. It just doesn't do anything for anybody. Like, just come with some constructive criticism, cool. But like, and you don't have to be optimistic 24/7, but damn, like the level of hate that is out there is just so much. And so when you see somebody find the enjoyment in something, you don't want to take that away. You don't want to be the reason it gets taken away, right? Like, if you love something and somebody was constantly negative about it all the time and try to take your joy away, that's no fun. You don't want to hear that, because you enjoy it and you want to keep that joy. So I appreciate that. He was also excited just about being drafted by the Suns in the first place, and this is what he had to say.
I mean, I'm excited to put on a Phoenix jersey that has my name, that has Maluach at the back, and I'm just excited to play for the Suns and step on the floor.
Simple.
That's what you say.
Yeah, he's excited.
There
is it.
Yeah, I mean, like, the dream has been reached. Now the work begins to be able to make the dream beautiful, and that's the hard part. And that's just, man, I don't know, man. I just, when I got drafted, I was disappointed, not where I went. I was disappointed at the number I went at, because I felt that I was much better. I thought I should have been top 10. But people saw me as an undersized power forward. They didn't really grasp that I could shoot the heck out of the ball and that I was quick, but they didn't see that because I was 230, and they didn't know if I could, so, and that bothered me. But man, I don't care. When I got drafted, I was just like, I'm just going to go prove it, and that's what you do. You go prove it, man. You just go prove yourself. And that's what I love about watching the draft. Because most of the players, predominantly majority of them, are happy where they're going. They don't have any kind of rhyme or reason why. That's why I love what Utah did with Ace Bailey. And Ace Bailey, I want people to know, we don't need to criticize him. He wasn't doing this. He's just out of high school. He probably didn't watch the NBA at a high level. He probably never even been to Utah. Probably never, maybe been to LA. Who knows? Right? My point is, it wasn't him. There were people around him. because they don't want to go to you. They didn't want to go.
I don't want to go to
They
Utah.
don't want to get on a plane and go.
Everybody
It's
knows how much
about
I
them.
hate Utah.
Yeah, I'm calling you all out. You know I'm telling the truth. It's about them. It's about an agent maybe. But it wasn't about this kid. It wasn't. He's not old enough to be trying to dissect anything past the happiness that he's in the NBA. It's just people feeding him that. And that was unfortunate. You know, and I'm glad Utah said, whatever. Tuh. We drafting you. Now what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Get your butt over here and play. And he'll love Utah. He'll, you know, from a basketball perspective, for a young player, not a ton to do in Salt Lake City. No, trust me, I played against Utah more than any team in my history. Okay, somebody look that up. I played against the Jazz. No. Okay, yeah. I go there now for vacation because I'm playing golf. They got beautiful golf courses.
They do.
But if you ask me, am I going to Salt Lake City just to hang out? No.
For the nightlife?
No, I'm not going.
That ends at 8.
They're building a dynasty in Oklahoma City right now.
No, but you know what?
Yeah.
As a young player, to go there and be taught by Frank Layton at the time, then Jerry Sloan, who was one of my all-time favorites growing up. I always told Jerry, even before he left here, I said, man, I hate that I never had a chance to play for you, you know, and it wouldn't have been no issue for me to live there. But, you know, Ace Bailey, people, back off of this young man. It's not him.
I will say this, though. I do think that there's this feeling of entitlement because these players have been able to dictate where they want to go their entire life up until this point, right? And so this thought that maybe you can control this narrative as well probably existed. And then the reality hits that, no, at the end of the day, the teams all have the control in terms of where you get to go on draft night. I think that is a reality for a lot of these kids, and whether they accept it or not is you know, it's subjective. It's only in their head that we can know. But I think in the case of Ace Bailey and the way his people approached it, whether it's him or his people, whatever, he's been able to dictate where he wants to go, you know, and now he can't, and now he's going to have to go to Utah. And I agree with you. I think he's going to be just fine in Utah. I think Utah's building something that is getting stronger and stronger.
Good coach,
every year.
good young coach.
Yeah. So there's nothing to really hate about.
Great fan base. Like, that's why I say that fan base up there in Utah is unreal. Unreal. So, no, great, like, environment to just go play and just focus on your game and just, you know, it's a beautiful city. It really is. A beautiful city. Outskirts of a beautiful place. So, you know, it's cold. It's cold.
Ted Offensive said, weed is illegal in Houston. How is KD going to cope?
Well, I'll tell you one thing about Houston. I played in Houston for 3 years.
Weed is not illegal.
I played in Utah. I played in Houston for 3 years. KD don't have to worry about anything because those policemen there, they love the Rockets.
Oh yeah, they do.
So he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
So
it's funny how people talk about that now because it's legal everywhere. I still feel like it's illegal because I've never done it in my life, and I don't push back on people that do it at all. But I've never done it, so it's just. One of these days, though, I might.
You know, EJ,
one of these days, you know, you got a bucket list. You got a bucket list. Like, I've never done drugs in my entire life. Nothing. Zero. I didn't even think about it because I lost my brother at a young age, and I watched him, how he destroyed himself. And I just promised myself that I would never venture there. Been in a room with it, all of that. Never been tempted, been tried to be coerced. Never have. I don't really, like, point the finger at anybody that does it. Obviously, it has some medical help for people in that regard. And you can make jokes about KD all you want. 27, 50, and 40. I probably should have smoked me some.
Oh man! And on that note, we'll get out of here on a high. And we appreciate you all for joining us. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Man, it's been a while. It's been so good to see everybody, even some new people that have not been around. We appreciate you all for checking out the show. We will be back. Are we back on Monday? I got to schedule live so we can get them on tape.
Yes.
Hey, there we go. We'll be back at 9 o'clock Monday morning live with another episode of Outside Shots. Until then, you can follow him on JumpShot8 on Twitter and on Instagram. You can also listen to the NBA Today radio or the NBA Today show on XM Radio every day from 1 to 4.
Yes.
Boom.
Pacific
Look at
time.
that. Pacific time. There we go. Got you. And you can also follow me at Saul_Bookman on Twitter and on Instagram as well. Make sure you watch day 2 of the NBA draft later on this afternoon on the PHNX Suns show with Eric Ruby, Stephen Pritchard Gardner, Gerald Bourget as they break down things. They got a special guest today, this guy. So enjoy. And until next time, we love y'all. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.